Hey guys, Ebontis here with your weekly Nightfall solo guide. We are on the Blighted Chalice strike. Modifiers are Berserk, Small Arms, Chaff, and Airborne. Now when you start, as soon as you basically get into the strike before you start moving, make sure you're all squared up, and as soon as you start moving, run straight forward, jump up over this lip, and head straight toward Malok. What you're going to want to do is get to high ground pretty much as soon as possible. Scions are going to be going after you pretty quickly, so if you can get to high ground, you should be relatively safe up here. They're not going to jump up here. And then just start picking them off. This part of the strike's pretty easy. The main issue you're going to have is just those couple of elite enemies that you're going to be dealing with. Outside of those, nothing is too terrible. Running out of ammo can be a bit annoying, but outside of that, it's not too bad. And of course, missing your shots. Once you feel like you've got most of them, come down here. If you got any ammo you can pick up, you may as well do that. And as soon as you land on that upper platform, where you hear that bong that just happened, come back up here and get to high ground. And we'll see what we're going to have for spawns. So here we've got this Tortured Knight. He is going to cast that fire. If you can actually stay out of his line of sight for a second, you should be relatively okay. If you can take him out before he jumps away, that'll work in your favor. Otherwise, just try and take him out from above. If you really don't want to face him up here, typically you don't have to. Just hide down here and crouch, and he'll typically jump out into the area, and you can take him out down there. I just like to take him out from up here if I can, just so I don't have to chase them down. Sometimes it's better. The captains, though, and their Black Ball of Death, sometimes those are better to take out from distance. They're just really twitchy and warp around, so they can be annoying to track down, so it's kind of your option. As rockets are a little less lethal than they were, they're not going to be quite as powerful as, say, a scout rifle even. But unfortunately, your scout rifle is not going to do that much damage to their shield for a minute, so it just takes a little bit on those captains. The wizards and the Taken Knights aren't nearly as bad. The captains are just so warpy, so fast. Those are probably the most annoying to deal with of all of them. I'm using my hung jury here. It does have Firefly on it, so that burst on their headshots are nice. If you feel like you might have one or two more guys down here, you can jump over to this middle platform and take them out. Now once all the enemies are down, you're going to have this key show up here in the center. Pick up any ammo if you want to do that. Grab the key and toss it in the door and rinse and repeat. Now usually on the second round the main enemy will come out of this opposite door, so watch this one. Again, I've got another knight here, so this one shouldn't be too bad. If you keep him damaged and staggered, he should go down fairly quickly as well. Once he is down, then same as before, just start taking off these scions any which way you can. It is small arms, so your primary is of course going to be your biggest and quickest way to take them out. Watch your health, of course. No exposure or anything like that, but just taking quite a few shots from these guys right now, so just pick them off, take your time, move back and forth, give them a little bit of a shifty target up here. I mean, you are stationary, but you got the high ground, so you can take your time if you really need to. They tend to kind of be somewhere between. If you're up on this section where I am, you'll usually find most of the scions either down below you a little bit, or you're going to find them out in those middle two sections between here or over here to the left. They don't typically go to the right that often, for whatever reason. They're just usually not around there. It's not juggler, but it sure feels like it sometimes. When you're up there, there's only so much you can do to get ammo, so. And if you get down to the last couple and you want to jump down here, but make sure you've got that main enemy taken out. You don't want to jump down here and have a knight or something running around, so just be careful of that. Might take that blighted ball out just so you can have a little free reign for jumping. And then the second key is going to be over here on the right. Toss this one in the door and rinse and repeat for the last time. You can have hive in this section. One thing to make note of if you do have hive in this section, for one, they can come out of that door. I think I actually got him. Nope, I did not. That's not a wise move, but hey, it worked out. Alright, well, I would not say go punch your elite enemy that you've got to deal with, but, you know, find a way to take them out. If punching them on your level works, then, you know, so be it. But they typically rotate. Round 1 and 3 aren't on the side. Round 2 is on that side. But you can have hive on this one. If you do have hive, there will not be scions, but there's going to be thralls all over the place down there, which are really easy to pick off, but they actually can jump up here and kind of join you. So it's one thing to make note of and be careful is if you're up here too long and standing still, they can kind of jump their way up the middle platforms, land up here, and then come around here and kill you. Now the way to get away from that, which I'll show you in a second once I've got a little bit of room over here, you can run over here, and the thrall typically will not go past this wall. They might push a little bit, but if you have to, then you can always come over here. Now, as you can see here, they're kind of pushing up on me and kind of jumping closer. They will try and jump close, but the scions will not jump all the way up here. So this is a pretty safe spot when they're taken. And once you've got everything taken out, same thing as last time. Key's going to be down here. Pick up any ammo that you might have lying around. Grab the key and run on to the end. This room's really not too bad. Just watch which enemies you get. The captains can be very twitchy. I've had a run before where it took me like 5 minutes to hunt down a captain because I was just trying to stay up above. Wizards, of course, you do want to take those out quickly. Small arms will make pretty quick work of wizards. Their shields aren't too bad. So once you open this door, you're going to have a whole lot of curse thrall. One quick shot to a dome of one of those, and you're going to have ammo aplenty, and we'll keep going forward. Now down this hallway, you'll kind of have a variety of enemies down here. Looks like I do have Taken, so Taken Captain will be coming. He's going to be obviously doing the Black Ball of Death down the hallway. You're also going to have some thralls that are coming too. Now, there's no burn, so there's no real ultra-lethal thing to be weary of. But of course, the Taken Captain's going to be annoying. Try and get him if you can, before he gets too many of those Black Balls of Death down the hallway. And then once you've got that, start picking these guys off. You might have a couple snipers on the back, so be wary of those. A couple vandals. There they are. Watch for them. They're only solar. I mean, they're a solar sniper, but they're still a sniper, so they're still going to hurt a little bit. Run up here and tag this bomb. So it explodes, and then watch and see if you've got anything else down below. Of course, these captains are quite a treat. So try and take them out. Now, the last thing you're going to have around to the right corner that you really have to worry about is going to be a Centurion. So if you come up here and pull a rocket launcher, that's going to make pretty quick work of him. And that way you can avoid his Axoim dart that he's going to be throwing around your way. Got one more thrall down there around the corner. Also, another nice thing is if you know you've got heavy ammo on the ground, you can blow a rocket and not feel too bad about it. Now, you've got a couple grenade bombs here, but if you just run past all these on the inside, you'll be fine. And we'll head into the Circle of Bones. Not quite the Hall of Wisdom yet. So if you can come out here and actually watch these little bombs explode, there's going to be a wizard that spawns out here in the middle. If you can take that wizard out early on, that's just going to save you some hunting around of the wizard because they do tend to move around quite a bit. But also you're going to have some snipers, so be careful of those. Just like that. Checkpoint's right there, so it's not that big of a deal. But I typically don't like to have you guys see me die, but that one's short enough, I'll leave it in there so you guys know I'm human. But again, if you can, might almost be worth doing something like a rocket. I've got Truth here. So if I can do that to drop the shield and then drop the wizard's health quickly, just makes this fight a little simpler. Now, those vandals on either side, the ones that took me out, you can watch out for those and stay back here. They will sometimes head to the back of the map. So if you come down here, you can do a quick loop, take out all these light grenades. They're not really anything too much to worry about, just make sure and take them out. Take out this blight as well, and then one thing you want to make note of before you go too far, if you go running straight across, you're going to have some issues with some guys trying to shoot you in the back. So over here, and then on the other side, you're going to have a couple of vandals that would try and shoot you as you just walk across the bridge. Well, if you pick them off from over here, it's not quite as bad. Once those are down, pick off the rest of the enemies over here. Those two vandals from the sides will have probably made their way across, so watch out for those. Just keep an eye out for them at least, and work your way across. You're going to have a few scions over here. If you've taken out most of them, it shouldn't be too much that's left. Take out the blights, and this one as well. I would say take both of those out. Once you have those blights taken out, run through and clear these bombs just so you have the mobility if you need it. And then turn back around and start clearing out this room. Right here, you're mostly just going to have some scions, nothing too bad down below at this level. You're going to have some snipers and captains in the back, but just play your sides and you won't have to deal with those for at least a minute or two. Then of course from back here, keep taking out the blights to save your mobility. You can see back there in the back, I've got centurions, I've got a couple snipers, there's a captain. Can't seem to hit anybody in the head when I want to. Vandals, of course, and their little shields are royal pain in your butt, but hey, that's what they do. So I think most of the blights are gone. I see a captain wandering around here. Twitchy captain as always. If you can do anything to take him out quick, go for it. And one more blight all the way in the back. Alright, so as you're coming up here, there will be some thrall. There's a centurion still on the back, so depending on where you're at for finding him, just watch out for that Axoim dart. It will be slowly headed your way. Not much you can do about it. Sometimes a rocket on those captains is worth it because those captains are so twitchy. And again, listen for that sound from the centurion for his Axoim dart. It's important to make sure you stay alive. If you can take out that centurion from range, that's going to be the best way to do it. It's another reason why the scout rifles are pretty much the best for small arms in a strike like this, just because it saves you having to get up close with like an auto rifle or a hand cannon. They just don't have the same range. Not much else through here. Come around this corner and we will get to the next section. Hall of Wisdom.
The beast is close. I can sense the blight that drips and seethes within.
I seem to be getting just about taken on every section. I've seen hive on a few of these sections. So make note that it is possible, but most of what I'm getting here is taken. So this section is going to be taken centurions and also vandals. So you're going to want to watch out for the snipe and then also try not to get shield blasted. Combination of both and you'll be alright. So you're going to have one sniper up here on the right hand side. Then if you work your way through the middle, you'll have a combination of both. Phalanx in the middle, and then vandals kind of up on perches. So just watch for both of those and you should be alright. Now Berserk is on, so they won't flinch when you shoot them in the knee or anything, so they're just going to be more of an annoyance to take out. If you get a good clean headshot, that'll make it quicker. But watch for those vandals, they're going to be perched up to snipe. And that Berserk is going to make a difference later because there's phalanx on pretty much every wave with the boss, so you're going to want something pretty powerful so they go down quickly. If you are dealing with vandals, just make sure you're strafing. You can handle them pretty quickly and handily that way. Just try not to stand still too long because they will tag you pretty quick. And they do tend to perch up on most of these little areas. There's going to be one behind here as well. If they pop their shield, just wait it out. It's not too bad. Normally I'd say pick up ammo. Of course primary is going to be important here. But the last thing you'll have a couple enemies running around down here. But there will be a captain in the back, so make note of him. I really whiffed that grenade. Apparently I did. Now I had a heavy drop. I've also got heavy ammo up there, so I'm going to just make quicker work of this captain than I usually might. And take him out mostly with a rocket. Now I'm pretty stacked on ammo at the moment, so I'm actually doing alright. But go ahead and pick it up anyway, just for the sake they're both sitting here. I've seen one, I've seen both, so just make sure you come through here, pick up your ammo that you get. And then in this tunnel, you're going to have some thralls that are facing you, so just make sure you don't get too jumpy and, you know, run through here and have like 6 thralls come up behind you. They're not too bad, they're not solar burn or anything like that, so they won't take you out instantly. So just be aware of that part. And head on through. You'll have a vandal at the end of that hallway, so just make sure you're ready to take him out.
Your speed. Do not let Malok dominate this shrine.
Once you come into this room, you'll have some of these acolytes hovering around. They go down pretty quickly, as you can tell. There's going to be 7 of them. There's 3 over here on the right, 2 in the middle, and there's 2 over on the left-hand side from where you enter. But I would tell you to take everything out from this back middle area. This is where you're going to do a lot of your fighting from, mostly. This little shadow spot on the ground is where a blight ball is going to spawn. As it's spawning, it will hurt you, so you don't want to stand in the middle of it. Typically, wherever you're probably going to do damage to Malok is going to be out in the middle. You're going to want to run to the opposite side as quick as you can once you see that he's calling reinforcements, and get over here so you can damage the enemies that are about to spawn. Once you take out the 2 acolytes, Malok will spawn in the middle. He's also going to spawn with some thrall out there in the middle, so I tend to like to fire 1 rocket in there, try and get that taken care of so I can have less of those guys to worry about coming up, because you're also going to have some enemies that spawn behind you. And they're coming right about now. Now they're going to be phalanx, so you want to take them out pretty quickly, make sure they don't shield blast you or anything. As I said, you'll have a couple of those thrall that spawn, so just watch out for those, get those taken care of, and that's the only time those thrall are going to spawn, so that's not so bad. Now Malok will be out there in the middle. He's going to have 3 phases. His first phase is an arc boomer phase. I can hear a thrall somewhere. And pretty much you're just going to want to make sure you've got a good long-range sniper rifle. Unfortunately, your snipes aren't going to be quite as effective as they have been in the past, but it's your best way to do it. If you want to use your primary like Scout, it's going to hit pretty hard too, so go ahead and do that. Now, as I said, when you see he's summoning enemies, minions to his aid, wait for the enemies to spawn, get that rocket there in the middle, try and take out those 2 phalanx in 1 shot if you can. It's also a nice time to use your super, honestly. There's that stupid thrall. Alright, so now you can kind of control the fight to your benefit here. There is no burn, so that's also going to be nice just because you're not going to have any of his abilities that are going to be lethal to you. So come to each side and take out the waves of enemies. You're going to have mostly Scions and 1 Vandal. The last wave of those Vandals are going to turn into Captains, so just make note of that. And once you take out these enemies, makes this section pretty easy. Watch for the sniper, of course. I think this one's actually hiding down there. And they do tend to like their shields. Now you'll notice on this side, I've got this little taken blight wall right here. On this side I don't, and it's because I've taken out the blight ball. They basically divide the room outside there into thirds. I've got the little one back here that basically clears up this room for mobility. But what that will do is give you mobility out here. So if you need to run around, pick up ammo, you can. That's pretty much the main time you need to take those blights out. Otherwise you can do most of what you need to do from right in here. Now again, put damage on Malok. If you can kind of watch your shots and not take too many of them. I nearly went down there, of course. That was kind of stupid. One thing you can do, of course, if you kind of get overrun, you can pull Malok to the other side just by popping outside, and he will usually follow you. You can play something like I've got here with him on the left side and the wall. His shots will typically hit the wall in front of you, so you should be safe. As I said, back up to a wall, and then if you can get most of the enemies tucked back here, watch and take out those phalanx. Now again, that's a time where I typically use a super, but I'm using my defender bubble. I'm actually going to go Weapons of Light just for some extra damage on the boss this next wave. And again, you can just use this little crevice here to pick off most of the enemies. They should at some point creep into your line of sight. You're not really in a huge rush here, and nothing's going to be too lethal because there's no burn this week. So a lot of this stuff should go down fairly quickly. The vandals, of course, and their shields, the most annoying part of all of this. But if you wait them out, of course they go down really fast with Hung Jury. And take out your blights. If you need to grab any ammo, make sure you do that. Watch your rockets too. I use those typically just for the middle phase here, just to take those enemies out quickly. The reason I use rockets is just because I like to make sure I'm not exposed too long. You can have your wall to your back to that wall right there, but I like to be back in here in the safe little spot just so you can control most of the fight. Now it looks like at this point I'm in pretty good shape. I just gotta find Malok. He is over here. Now he is on phase 2. You would have seen last time that he changes his tactics. What you're gonna notice is, depending on what ability he's on, you can typically find a spot where he's not going to be hurting you. If you can play your cards right. Not always, but... And that's why I use the rockets. I clear that out. Come in here and kill the blight. Then I've kind of got free reign to take out the sides of enemies at my leisure and pace. Of course, the vandals, always their fun. If you want to use your grenades, you can always toss these out there. Let those do their work, then come back to this side and take out the rest of the enemies. I got some rockets to drop, so I'm actually going to want to come out here and pick up that ammo. See how my grenade did on this side. Got some action, not too many. Vandals still up, of course. Him and their shields. Now the other thing to make note of is Chaff. You don't have your radars, you're running around, so you're not quite aware. But yeah, run out here, pick up ammo, and peek your butt back inside. Now one thing to make note of, as I was saying, these blights kind of divide the room into thirds, and there seems to be enemies at each third. There's also a set of enemies out there in the middle of the room. You just typically don't have to deal with them, because I'm not going to be one to run out here in the middle and shoot a bunch of guys and try and take on the boss at like point blank range. So, as I said, you typically can pull the boss. Sometimes he gets hung up and does his ability on one side. But if you hang in the back of the room, watch your health of course, but what you can do is sometimes get him to do his ability, and it's going to half hit a wall, half not come back far enough, and you can kind of have a pretty decent free shot at him back here. If you're up closer, you're just going to get him to typically be firing his abilities to where they can actually hit you. But if you're farther back, you actually should be safe. But again, pass through. I took a little bit of damage in that middle section. Look for your phalanx. Try and get your grenades out effectively. And then take out the middle. Another good time to have your grenade up, of course, is for those guys. I try and use the rockets, but it doesn't always work. Now, I should still be on the solar phase, so I should still have vandals down here. That shouldn't have changed yet. Actually got him before he popped his shield, which is nice. Ah, didn't get that guy. They do recharge their shield a little bit, but they still go down fast with the scout rifle. Now, if I wanted to use 2 rockets there, I could have probably taken out that phalanx, but I figured that was kind of overkill. He's on this side, so I'm going to check my ammo on the opposite side. I think I might have 1 enemy left up. But as I said, there's enemies out here in the middle too. If for some reason you're trying to build up your super for that middle section, I've done that before. You can do that. But I want to run down here and pick up this rocket ammo because I did actually see it. And if you hang out here, you will pull him back and forth. And then just watch your cues on the bottom left of your screen. It's going to tell you when he's going to spawn his next wave of enemies. And just as soon as that happens, make sure you flip sides and you're ready to go. Just like that. As soon as you see it, you can pass through. You can dodge most of the damage. Wait for the enemies to spawn. Looks like I got a split package there, so I used 2 rockets to take them out. Getting close to the end, I should be on the void phase. When you're on the void phase, you want to hang back a little bit so he doesn't see you nearly as frequently. You don't want him to find you visible, just because... Nope, I'm still not in void phase, so I should be alright. His head is going crazy right now. That's how you know you're getting very close to the end of the solar phase, just because his head is going bonkers at this point. Most of these scions will go down quickly. And I'm just trying to take out just about everything I can, just so I can run down there and pick up the ammo that I want. Both of these blights are down. He's on this side, so I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to come back over here and make sure I've got everything taken out. And you can pick off a few of the guys in the middle if you're trying to build a super or something. I haven't even hardly used one this round. Oh well. So once he's on this side, I'm going to run to the opposite side and pick up ammo. I did manage to leave one guy up. Yeah, I'll use my melee for a change. And once you pull him to the side that you want on, come over here and get your shots going into him. As soon as you see his head pop, he's going to go to his next tactics, which is going to be Void, and that's where he's going to have 4 Axoim darts. Now, 1, you probably know how much damage it can do. 4 can be lethal if they all find you. As soon as he changes tactics, this is when you want to stay pretty much out of his field of vision. Watch for the enemies to spawn. I've got them right here. Put one in between them, and I should be safe. Now, here's where things change a little bit. For one, as I said, he's on Void mode, so he's going to be a little harder to deal with just because of his Axoim darts. The other thing you're going to notice is you've got taken captains up here, so they're little black balls of death if you don't kill them instantly. I got kind of lucky there. They will get quite annoying, so peek your way around and then try and target those captains as quickly as you can. Black ball of death is rather annoying. Getting a little greedy there. Taking captain's always a royal pain. If you're trying to pull him out, of course fire a few shots. Sometimes that'll work. Sometimes you gotta fire through the black ball of death to take him out, but they should be alright. So I think that's both of them. I'll take out the blights again for mobility just in case I need it. Now you can see his head is actually pretty small. And until he actually sees you, you should be okay. But at this point here is where you need to be pretty much ready to hide, because those Axoim darts are painful. So take your chances. If you want to pick them off, you might be able to pick most of them off. But he tends to get a little skittish at this point too. Before he would chase you down, now he's going to pretty much run opposite of you. If you are trying to hunt him down, you can get a little more aggressive. And as you can see, he's running away from me as opposed to coming towards me. There's a captain out there in the middle as well. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go safe mode. And we're just going to clean that out that way. So there is use for supers if you need them. And time to just take everything out. I can use that, have extra damage. Weapons of Light, of course, always a nice little benefit. And the nice thing about these 2 waves of enemies, if you do use your super, you've got a lot of enemies to kill, still plenty out in the middle as well. So you can get a lot of your super back actually if you really want to, you can. Now, if you hear the Axoim darts get thrown, you can dodge most of a one creeped around the corner. But if you hug this door, there's enough lips to these walls where they have an issue kind of going over them but still trying to get to you. And again, if you need a little bit more supers, I'm trying to build mine up a little bit, you can take advantage of the middle enemies if you need to. So I've got most of my super up at this point. Actually trying to have that so I have weapons of light to take on the boss. I do want to take out the enemies over here. I've still got this captain over here. I want to take him out before I really try and attack the boss on either side. So I've got free reign on both. I think I've got a pretty clear run. I could use some normal ammo, so I'm going to come out here and pick it up real quick. Should be fully loaded now. Now, I think I've got a pretty free reign on him. So I'm going to pop my bubble here in the middle for weapons of light and see what I can do for damage to him. He's going to run to this other side. You sometimes can actually get a shot on him through the middle here. It's not the easiest way to do it, but it is possible. Maybe. Nope. Now if you get something like that, he's definitely going to run away. Try and grab your weapons of light a third time, and then go for the final shots here. He's probably going to call minions to his aid, so of course get out of the middle, get your rockets reloaded as fast as you feasibly can. Nice thing about the rockets, you can fire them at the ground and get through most of what those shields are going to block as well. And you'll have the usual enemy spawn on each side, plenty of scions and things to do damage with. Watch out for the captains and their black balls of death. I probably say that phrase too much, but I don't know what else to call it. I'm sure there's a technical term for it, but I've yet to actually look it up. Alright, so I got the captain on that side. Finish off these last few straggler scions. Got some rocket ammo down there, which will be nice, but I don't think I'm actually going to need it just because I'm likely to finish him off on this wave. So same thing over here. I don't have any enemies on this side for some reason. I don't even know how that's possible. Odd little glitch perhaps. I'll take it. But if he's on the opposite side, you can definitely make a pretty reasonable run for ammo and be alright. But here's a theory to test. Most of the time those Axoim darts will not come around those corners, and you can hear they all exploded over on the other side. So, pretty safe. See if you can track down where he's actually going to be. Looks like he did run over to this side, so I'm going to pop my bubble in the middle for weapons of light for extra damage, and see if I can finish him off here. He ran to the other side, of course. Told you he's a little skittish once he gets low on health. Come on. Okay, I'm having issues tracking him down. Here he comes. And if you get to this point, he's not going to peek his head out for any direct type shot. If you can take those blights out, and there you go. Now before it finishes, make sure you get as high light level as possible.
That they took through taking.
And yep,
Without Malok to
that will pretty much wrap it up, guys. Would have been a good time to use the 3 coins. Totally forgot.
Shrine will quiet. That is my dream, Guardian. That one day the moon will lie dead and still.
But you should be able to run around here, pick up anything that dropped. I didn't get anything great this week, but shouldn't be too bad to try it a couple times. And that's a wrap, guys. See if I get anything good, of course. And of course, try and equip your highest light level stuff when you're finishing up the mission, just so you can get the highest level rewards possible. Normally, I would say switch right before you kill him, just because he can drop stuff that you can use. And a 330 deal breaker. Bottom half of the magazine, and nothing great. So, that's a wrap, guys. If you guys did enjoy this one, likes are appreciated. Check out my main channel. I'll get Challenge of Elders up as well. I will try and solo that one, just because it's both catapult and grenade bonus, so it sounds at least possible. The new point reductions for solo players make it kind of rough, so I'll still probably put it up. I'll just see how many points I can get out of it, though. Other than that, keep checking out the videos. Subscribe on the main channel. Check that one out. I'll keep videos coming your way. And thanks again for tuning in the channel, and have a good week.